What's up everyone, I am the Kaiju no Kami, and this is my quickie review for Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. This video is brought to you by the Kaiju no Kami store, creativity by design llc.com/shop. You can buy all kinds of cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise. We've got t-shirts, notebooks, pens, water bottles, and a poster. Check it out, and thank you for your business. Now back to the review. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is the latest Resident Evil movie to hit theaters. It is in its own universe, a brand new timeline that has nothing to do with the previous installments that had Mila Jovovich. It stars a bunch of people I am not the least bit familiar with at all, except for Robbie Amell, who plays Chris Redfield, and Damien Darhk's actor whose name suddenly escapes me as I'm doing this review. He plays William Birkin. Now, going into this, I was like, okay, this is a Resident Evil movie, the 7th live-action adaptation, and technically like the 11th, 12th movie overall, if you count the CGI crap that also came out. Resident Evil has not had a very positive experience in the realm of movies. The CGI ones are crap, the live-action ones are usually crap. How does this one compare? Well, it's better than a lot of those. In fact, there were moments in this movie I legitimately enjoyed. However, as a movie itself, it's not very good. Still, it is much better than Snake Eyes and Mortal Kombat. I still think Mortal Kombat is the worst movie of the year. This is way better than that. In some ways, I kind of enjoyed this more than Eternals and Black Widow, even though it's not that good of a movie. There are some actual really good true moments of suspense and tension. The movie does have atmosphere, like the forest outside of the Spencer Mansion from the first game has a lot of mood to it, as does the Spencer Mansion itself. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I should first tell you what this movie is about. Something happened and a zombie outbreak occurred, so Umbrella calls William Birkin to say, "Yo, dog, you gotta go and grab your stuff and get the heck out of here because we're about to destroy this city." Meanwhile, Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, and Albert Wesker are enjoying a meal when Leon comes walking in and he's all drunk and passed out, tired from everything. He's a rookie cop and very dumb in this movie, and they're kind of like making fun of him, and these cops come in and say some weird stuff occurred at a Spencer Mansion in the woods, so they have to go, and at some point they are sent over there. So we have our storyline for Resident Evil 1. Meanwhile, as I said, we have Leon, and Claire is coming back to Raccoon City to warn her brother about some stuff that's going on with Umbrella. So there we have Resident Evil 2, except they're both converging into this one movie taking place in September of 1998. So they combine the stories of Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 into one movie. Now, considering that, it could have been a lot worse. I actually went in expecting it to be much, much more terrible. Thankfully, I got something a little bit better. You can tell the people in charge of this movie actually like Resident Evil and have played the games because there were elements of Resident Evil there. They just didn't know how to actually do them that well. It's kind of like the Ghost in the Shell movie where you could tell the director and writers like Ghost in the Shell. They just didn't know how to make a Ghost in the Shell movie. That's kind of the same thing here. For example, the lickers in this movie are efficiently well and accurate to the games. They have the whole, well, if you make a noise, they're going to hear you. Lisa Trevor, on the other hand, doesn't really make a lot of sense. However, the actors all did a really good job with the material they had to work with. You can tell they were kind of engaged in it, at least most of them. They were trying to do their best. Not all of them are great actors. I don't think Robbie Amell is really this talented of an actor like his brother is. Not everything he failed at was totally his fault here. So I will give him some credit for that. The woman they got to play Jill did a really good job. Wesker, or Brosker as some people have called him, was kind of hilarious. And then we have Claire, who was the standout for the movie. She was the one that seemed like she really wanted to be there. The actress just gave everything she had to give the damnedest performance possible despite the crappy material. Leon was fine as an actor, but god damn did they completely mess up his character. They turned him into a bumbling idiot. The portrayal of Birkin was not very good. In fact, I didn't really like Birkin, which is a shame because the actor playing him would have been a great Birkin. And his G-monster form just... ugh. It was terrible. That part they didn't even try to resemble the game with. And I think the problem is that they pretty much had to have him mutate like for the last 10 minutes of the movie. He had to go through all the mutations, so it didn't work out well. I did like that we got to see the opening of the mansion. Was like, oh my god, that looks just like the mansion in the video games. Same with the RPD front headquarters. We go in there and it's like, oh my god, they recreated the entranceway to the RPD headquarters. It's amazing. Are we going to get to see that statue in use? No, we're not, but that's okay because we have two games crammed into one movie here. At one point in time, James Wan was a producer on this movie, so there are some areas, like I said, that seem like they were true, legitimate horror, and I feel, oh, those must have been the areas of the movie that Wan had supervised or worked on before he left the project. The soundtrack was decent. I don't really remember any tracks except there was some unnecessary like modern lyrical music from bands. They should have just stuck to an orchestral score like the games usually have. Not sure why they chose to have this popish, rockish, popular music in there. It was okay for what they did. Sometimes it felt out of place. This movie's kind of hard to talk about as I'm trying to be positive about it, for there were a lot of positives. On the other hand, there were a lot of negatives, and I feel like that most people are going to just fully focus on the negatives. So I'm trying to give this a more positive review since there was a lot I did like about this movie. It's just the negatives really do hamper it down. If you're a diehard Resident Evil fan, give this a try. At worst, you're like, well, that completely sucked. At best, you're probably, oh, that wasn't so bad. I've seen a lot worse Resident Evil movies. There was that terrible Netflix CGI thing that came out earlier this summer. There are a lot of worse things Resident Evil to be had. There's video games of Resident Evil. I would rather rewatch this movie over playing Resident Evil 6 again. That's how bad I hate Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6 is so bad, I would rather play Resident Evil Gaiden again on the Game Boy Color. In fact, I didn't think Resident Evil Gaiden was that bad of a game like other people did. It wasn't a good game. It had some interesting ideas with it, and that's what Welcome to Raccoon City was. A lot of interesting ideas put into a blender. Too many cooks in the kitchen, maybe? Too many ideas, perhaps? It was kind of like they were all thinking, well, this movie's probably going to bomb so badly we're not going to get another chance for another Resident Evil movie, so let's just throw Resident Evil 1 and 2 together into one, and that will be our movie. And then if a sequel occurs, we'll figure it out. Now, there was one little thing I did actually kind of like at the end of the movie. If you know the games, you know Raccoon City gets nuked at the end of Resident Evil 3. This one does something a bit cleverer with it. At least to not make it seem so obvious that the city gets nuked. Overall, I'm going to give Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City a 6 out of 10. It's not a good movie by any means. It's better than some of the movies I've watched this year. And it's one of the better Resident Evil movies, or as somebody on Facebook put it, a lesser sucky Resident Evil movie. Have you seen Welcome to Raccoon City? If so, what did you think of it? What's your favorite Resident Evil game? What video game would you like to see turned into a movie, and turn into a movie where the people are going to just give it their all, where they're going to take their time with the script and not just rush anything out there? For me, it would hands down be either Legacy of Kain or Onimusha. I love those two franchises, and I definitely think they could be done right in the proper hands. Shit, let me make the Legacy of Kain movie. I know that franchise in and out, and I've already had ideas in my head for the last 15 years of how a Legacy of Kain movie could be done. Actually 20 years, I think, at this point. So, yes, someone hire me to write a Legacy of Kain movie, I will do it right. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support me. You can support me on Patreon at Kaiju no Kami, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Kaiju no Kami, Discord Kaiju no Kami, my website creativitybydesignllc.com, and in case you missed it, creativitybydesignllc.com/shop to get yourself some cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise that would also make good stocking stuffers. Until next time, bye!